गुरु प्यारी साध संगत जी, गज वज के फतेह बुलाओ जी। वाहिगुरु जी का खालसा, वाहिगुरु जी की फतेह। Out of 24 hours in the day, Professor Darvinder Pal Singh Ji Puller spends 22 of those hours confined and isolated in a 7 by 9 foot Tihar jail cell. He has faced all sorts of unjust mental, psychological, physical torture while in his cells. Innocents, including his father, his mamaji, his best friend, were targeted and killed because he was accused. He was unlawfully extradited from Germany. He was charged for a crime he never committed, and with no other evidence other than a retracted forced confession. None of the 133 witnesses produced by the prosecution even saw Professor Pullerji during the time of the incident. Yet, he was declared guilty. He was sentenced with a death penalty. His case has been ongoing for more than 20 years. But in the eyes of the Indian law, he's considered a conspirator, a terrorist. And it all boiled down to the notorious Tada law that allowed a confession to be admissible in trial, and to judges that saw him as guilty before he even stepped in the foot of the courtroom. It's devastating to say that despite Mr. Puller being a psychiatric patient, he's still being sent to the gallows. This is our brother, and he is not alone. Time and time again, I've witnessed as Sikhs have continued to languish and rot in Indian jails. We have wealth, we have education, we have a reputation that has reached the corners of the world. Yet, why does the Sikh Panth still continue to struggle against the targeted and ever-perpetuating injustice that occurs against minorities in India? Why is this, I ask you today? To answer this question, we must first ask, why are Sikhs a target in the first place? Professor Puller spoke out against the injustices in Punjab during the 1980s. He noticed students were missing after police encounters. And he supported the notion of an independent nation. These Sidhu, who we are here celebrating today, whose legacy we are trying to live on, had begun quoting Sant Jarnail Singh Ji Bhindranwale during the farmers' protest, and he rebuked Delhi police officers, saying, why are they acting as emperors? He read Ghan Singh Nabha and other Sikh writers. He read the Indian law and he understood what the mission was. What the Indian government fears the most is the birth of revolutionaries. And all of these souls were beginning to walk that path. They had started to embody the meaty aspect of meaty beating. This is where the Sikh youth have to step in. Now more than ever, we need to turn our eyes towards what we need the most right now: political power. We cannot ignore the heritage of meaty that was given to us by our sixth Guru. How do we do this? First of all, we have to be aware of the law of the country we are fighting against, as well as the political party that we are aligning ourselves with, the same way that these Sidhu did. Read the Constitution and the documents that these parties are publishing and examine what the past? Will they hold true to their words? Ask yourself, as my representative, what are you doing for me? Will they fight for Punjab's water? Will they help to free our unlawfully convicted Sikh brothers and sisters? Do they have an appropriate hospital, medical, educational infrastructure policy? If they are not aligning, then we as youth, this is where our voices hold power. We need to make truthful demands. We need to write, we need to call, we need to meet our politicians, the ones that we believe in. And if you support them, then stand with them, campaign with them. And that's what we're here to do today. But hold them accountable and ask them, stand up for me when I need you the most. Right now, every single voice here is gathered for freedom and justice. Every single voice, every single story, we are the ambassadors. For the Sikhs, we are the agents of change for that Sikh story. There is nothing more that the Indian government fears than the collection of educated Sikhs armed with righteousness, justice, and the words of the law. We fear only to realize that fear is nothing but an illusion created by that government. The Guruji showed us that our domain is beyond just mere religion. It is global, it is political, it is spiritual. Since the Guru's court is on this very earth and not somewhere beyond, the actions taken to oppose those who violate anyone's rights, those who silence and oppress the voices of the vulnerable populations, these actions, this fight, cannot and should not stop. We say that our solution is Khalistan, but we need to get together and ask ourselves, how? How are we getting to that Khalistan? What does that Khalistan even look like? In Israel, when they were fighting, they asked, the mothers used to tell their children that you can dream of an independent nation. But where are the seeds from my mothers here? Where are the seeds from my sisters here? Everyone needs to be involved in this fight, from the youngest of the youngest to the oldest of the old. So we need to continue fighting for these vulnerable populations, and that includes protecting ourselves, protecting our people, and protecting our God. As long as we continue to dream of the world envisioned by the Gurus, where everyone is equal and free, the barriers of hatred, the barriers of opposition cannot stand in our way, and they will be actively demolished. So read, reflect, and move to awaken yourself. That's the way that we are going to bring to fruit liberation. Waheguru Ji Ka Khalsa, Waheguru Ji Ki Fateh.